So, good morning students. So, welcome to business studies class. For today's concept, import procedure. Last class we have studied export procedure, but today's concept, that is import procedure. Okay. In the export procedure we have studied 17 steps, 17 procedures for exporting of any product. We had 17 procedures. So, we had to fulfill all the formalities for exporting a product, but today's class in the import procedure we have only 10 procedures or 10 steps. We have trade inquiry is the first one, second one procurement of import license, third one obtaining foreign exchange, fourth one placing order or indent, fifth one obtaining letter of credit, sixth one arranging the finance, then receipt of shipment advice, retirement of import document, arrival of goods, then customs clearance and releasing the goods. These are all the 10 procedures under import. Okay, as I said, importing and exporting not just like buying and selling in the domestic market or the internal market. It is more than that. And simply we can call it as just buying a goods from foreign country or selling goods to the foreign country. But here we have tedious formalities, we have various formalities, we have to fulfill the formalities first, then only we can export or import the product. Okay, but now what is the first task of importer? That is trade inquiry. Now the importer has to send a request letter or the request to all the exporters or the export firm on inquiring a product. Okay, that is the first work of importer. First work of importer, trade inquiry, just inquiring, collecting details of product, the price of the product, size of the product, quantity, quality. Then that means you want to get all the information of product from the exporter. That is what we call trade inquiry. So, after inquiring, now on the other hand, exporter, he sends one quotation or pro forma invoice that contains the details of the product, what is the price range, what is the quantity, what is the size, what is the quality, the company's name. Then he sends all the information of product. That is called pro forma invoice or quotations. We have studied in our last class under export procedure. That is the second one. Okay, here is the first one, the trade inquiry. The first work, the trade inquiry by the importer. On the other hand, now exporter sends the pro forma invoice or a quotation. Now come to second one, procurement of import license. So after inquiring, after trade inquiry, now importer has to go for obtaining or collecting import license. For importing some product, there is no need of having import license. Okay, for importing of some specified product, for specific product, there is no regulation, there is no any legal restrictions. There is no need of having import license for importing some product, but for some product the importer must have import license for importing the product. So, that is the reason the procurement of import license. For collecting or for obtaining the import license, now importer has to apply for, has to register with the DGFT, that means Directorate General of Foreign Trade. Then if he is satisfied with the application of importer, he gives ICE, that means import export code, IEC import export code, that is called import license. For obtaining, for getting the trade license or the import license, he has to register with the DGFT. It is the second procedure or second task of importer. Now third one, obtaining foreign exchange. Okay, so after getting import export code or import license, now he has to go for getting foreign exchange. For example, if any importer, if he wants to buy a goods from from America, if he wants to import goods from America, then we can't give our rupee, because rupee is the legal money in India, not in America. For the exporter, we have to pay in dollar, but we have the rupee. Now, what to do? Now, importer has to apply for foreign exchange or for the dollar now with the foreign exchange department of RBI. Okay. So, now importer has to pay the rupee, then he collects the dollar for payment of to pay the amount to the exporter. That is what we call obtaining foreign exchange. Third procedure of import, obtaining or collecting foreign exchange. Now, importer has to pay the rupee to the foreign exchange department of RBI, then RBI in return they give what we call dollar or forex or foreign exchange. That is the third step. Fourth one, placing order or indent. Now, as I said, first one, trade enquiry. On other hand, exporter they send quotation or pro forma invoice. If importer is happy with the pro forma invoice or quotation, then importer he can place the order, he can give order or indent. That is the fourth one. Import procedures, and is the fourth one, placing order or indent, giving order. That is the fourth one. Fifth one, letter of credit, obtaining letter of credit. We studied in our last class, letter of credit. After all agreement is finished, after finishing all the agreement, now importer he collects the letter of credit from his bank, then he sends to the exporter. As I said, letter of credit is the what you call guarantee for the payment of importer to the exporter. So, that is what you call letter of credit. So, fifth one, obtaining or collecting letter of credit from the importer's bank, then hand over it to the exporter, exporter's bank or to the exporter. That is the fifth one. First one, trade enquiry, that is enquiring on a product or on export firm. Then he goes for getting import license, then he collects foreign exchange from foreign exchange department of RBI, then placing order, then fifth one, getting letter of credit from the importer's bank, then handles it to the exporter's bank or to the exporter. Now, after getting letter of credit, he has to go for earning finance or earning cash or money, because if any delay in a payment, they are subject to penalty or for fine. There is a reason the importer has to make sure of finance. That is sixth one, arrangement for finance. Seventh one, receipt of shipment advice. Now, exporter he goes for shipment of product on vessel or on the ship. So, after loading, after shipment, exporter he sends one message to the importer. So, that is what we call receipt of shipment advice. So, after shipping, so after the loading the product to the vessel or to the ship, now exporter sends one advice or he sends information. Okay, that is what we call shipment advice. It contains details of the product, then exporter's name, then ship name, ship number, vessel's number. So, all the information that is included in shipment advice, the seventh one. Then eighth one, retirement of import document. So, after sending the product, after exporting the product, now exporter he collects, he gathers all the document relating to the export, then he sends it to the importer's bank. That is what we call retirement of import document. Ninth one, arrival of goods. Now, if exporter, if he ship his product on vessel, now the in charge of the ship or vessel, in charge of ship, he sends one message to the in charge of dock. Okay, import or the port. I repeat, when it comes to arrival of goods, the in charge of the ship, he sends one message to the in charge of or superintendent of a dock or port on arrival of the goods. That is the 9th one. 10th one, customs clearance and releasing of goods. As I said, the clearing of customs is very tedious work. Okay. Now we have to appoint clearing and forwarding agent. They are expert, they are well versed in clearing the customs duty or in the releasing the product. So that now importer, he appoints clearing and forwarding agent for clearing the customs duty or customs formalities and releasing the goods. These are all the 10 steps of import procedure. So first one, trade inquiry. Second one, procurement of import license. He has to apply for DGFT for obtaining the import license. Then getting foreign exchange. Okay, that means converting our currency into foreign currency. Okay, you have to pay rupee. On the other hand, they give the money of other country. Now, after finishing third one, he has to go for placing the order. Then obtaining letter of credit is a guarantee issued by importer's bank. Sixth one, arranging the finance, arrangement of money. Then seventh one, receipt of shipment advice. Exporter, he sends the message to the importer after shipping or after loading the product to the ship. Then eighth one, retirement of import document. Ninth one, arrival of goods. 10th one, customs clearance and releasing goods. These are all the 10 procedures of import procedure. Next concept, foreign trade measures or foreign trade promotion measures and scheme. It's a very important concept. Now we are going to study foreign trade promotion measures and schemes. So India is suffering the severe balance of payment deficit, the deficit in our balance of payment, because our import is larger than export. Okay, our import is larger than export. So we have to change this trend. Our import is a problem for many things. Okay, one of the devaluation of our rupee. So decreasing value of our rupee, the main reason for that, for decreasing the value of rupee, just again the balance of payment deficit. So to minimize that deficit, that means for increase or export over import, the government of India, so they have taken so many measures and so many schemes. So here we are going to study 10 foreign trade promotion schemes or measures. Okay, we have 10 foreign trade promotion schemes and measures. Here is the 10 things which is subject is meant only for increase or export. So we have to increase our export to minimize our balance of payment deficit. Okay, that's the main thing. So first one, duty drawback scheme. Then we have export manufacturing under bond scheme. Then we have third one, exemption from payment of sales tax. So then we have advance license scheme, export promotion capital goods scheme, recognizing as export house or export house, trading house and superstar trading house. Then we have export services. Okay, export services, we have service export house, international service export house, international star service export houses. Then we have export finance, then export processing scheme EPS or export processing zone EPZ. Then we have 100% export oriented unit. These are all the 10 promotion measures to increase our export, Okay. Now come to first one, duty drawback scheme. So under duty drawback scheme, as you know, for exporting of any product, so that company, exporting company has to pay some excess duty. One more thing is here, all the taxes now they are replaced by GST, but they are given in the textbook. I am going to the textbook now. First one, duty drawback scheme. So under duty drawback scheme, as you know, exporter has to pay the various taxes or excess tax, excess duty on producing the product in our country. First, then if after payment of excess duty, the exporter, the government of India, they refund their excess duty or the tax to the exporter. They are going to refund it. That is what we call duty drawback scheme. Just refunding of taxes, excess duty is from the to the exporter. That is the first scheme to increase our export, duty drawback scheme. Second one, export manufacturing under a bond scheme. Again, under this scheme, now exporter, it need not pay any taxes, excess duty. Okay, that is the second one, export manufacturing under bond scheme. Then he has to get the permission. Then there is no need of, after getting that permission or bond, there is no need of payment of excess tax or excess duty to the government. That is the second one, manufacturing goods, that is only for exporting under a bond scheme. Third one, exemption from payment of sales tax. The export company, those who are exporting product to the foreign country, then they are exempted. They need not pay any sales tax. Not only that, their income, their annual income also exempted from income tax. That is one more opportunity or what you call benefit to the exporter. Exemption from sales tax, again exemption from income tax. The income earned by export, that is also exempted by tax. That is the third one, third promotional measure. Now fourth one, export promotion capital goods scheme. Under this scheme, if any exporter, if they want to buy the product from, buy the capital goods for the purpose of producing the product here, then sell it to foreign country. Okay, first they are importing capital goods from the foreign country, then they are producing the product here, then they export it to the foreign country. In that time, for the exporter, they are given some relief for purchase of capital goods from the foreign country. For importing of a product, importing of a capital goods from the product, it is exempted. To whom? To the importer. That time, that importer, he produces a product by using capital goods, then he export it to the foreign country. So in this process, the importer, he purchases goods from the foreign country, then he produces goods here, then he export it to the foreign country. In this process, for importing of capital goods, that excess duty is exempted, it is freed from the tax. That is the what you call fifth one, export promotion capital goods scheme. Then sixth one, recognizing a export house, trading house and a superstar trading house. These are services. So these are all the trading firms, those company which are doing the export business in the past year. On the basis of their past experience or average export, so they have recognized it as they are given some name. Maybe the export house trading house or superstar trading house. So, they do the work of marketing of product which are going to be exported later. That is the sixth one, recognizing export house, trading house and superstar trading house. Then seventh one, export of services, not only exporting the goods, tangible item, even we can saturate our balance of payment deficit by increasing our export of services. For that we have service export house, international service export house and international star service export houses. By using this, we can export our technology or some other services to balance our balance of payment or balance of payment. Okay. Now, export finance, those companies which are involving in export activity, then they are given loan under concession or under low rate of interest. So, they get two type of finance. First one, pre-shipment finance. First one, pre-shipment finance. Second one, post-shipment finance. First one, pre-shipment finance. Second one, post-finance. They get two types of finance. Two types of finance. Two times. First one, pre-shipment. Before shipment, this fund can be used for purchase of raw materials and producing the goods. That is what we call pre-shipment finance. Then post-shipment finance. The finance they can raise money, they can raise after shipment. Here the interest rate is very low, very negligible. That is the one more advantage to the exporter. Now, ninth one, export processing scheme or zone. We have the EPZ. Okay, export processing zone or export processing scheme. Under this scheme, under this house, this zone, here we are producing the internationally competitive product under quality wise as well as under product wise and the price wise. Where we produce some quality product, then we have 100% export oriented unit. Here the goods produced which are only meant for exporting, 100% export oriented unit. This is a complementary and supplementary to the EPZ or EPS. Okay, so it's the 10th one, 100% export oriented scheme. Not only these 10 points, as I said, Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's also one of the way or the, it's a what do you call, promotional activity, incentive to increase our export. Okay, one of the, as I said, one of the major problem, no one is noticing this problem, our balance of payment deficit. We have huge deficit because we are importing all the product from the foreign country. Automatically what happens? So, when we purchase more goods, when we import more goods from the foreign country, we have to pay more amount. Okay, but our export is very less. When we export the product, we can generate revenue, but here revenue is very less. Our generating of revenue is very less because our export is less, but our import is more. In return we have to pay the payment, money. That is a big problem. To solve this problem, to solve balance of payment deficit problem, the government of India, they have initiated this scheme. We have 10 schemes here. Okay, that is called foreign trade promotion schemes and measures. In next class we will study IBRD or World Bank, then IMF and WTO. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next class.